over the last few weeks, like I have been in such a on to the next mentality for so long that
Mhm.
I don't always take time to enjoy it, celebrate it. Let's just maximize on what's happening right now and wait for God to tell me what is next. Welcome to the Andrea Engstrom Show for bold women in business. We are passionate about helping you break through to your next level of abundance, success, and freedom so that you can create the life you desire and inspire others to do the same. I'm your host, Andrea Engstrom, and I'm here with my gorgeous co-host, Brenda STROUD. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey. Well, this week I'm so excited to talk with you about bold confidence. So, my book came out. I finally published my book, and I'm so excited to share about that journey with you today.
I'm excited to hear about it. I was so excited for you and so
Thank
happy for
you.
you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It was a dream for such a long time.
Yeah.
I think ever since I was a little girl, I had a dream written on a piece of paper that I wanted to be an author.
Okay.
Because I was a voracious reader as a child, and part of that is I was a little homeschool girl, and I didn't have a lot of social opportunities during the day because I was home with my sister doing homeschool work, and so my books became my friends, and I was like, I'm
Mhm.
either going to be a librarian or I'm going to write books, maybe both, because I just love my books.
So, what was the inspiration to write the book? What was the inspiration for you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So a few years ago when I launched my coaching program,
Mhm.
my first coaching program was called Bold Confidence Blueprint. And when I was creating that coaching program, I said, what are the things that worked for me when I was building my businesses? What are
Mhm.
the things that I learned from my coaches over the years that were mindset shifting, life changing, practical business principles? And how can I bring that to other women
Yeah.
entrepreneurs who need to know this stuff, but most importantly, need to have that identity shift.
Right.
And
Right.
so when I created that coaching program, I delivered it live several times in cohorts. That's the group coaching model that I teach people now. And so I would have a dozen women at a time going through this process. And then finally, I recorded it all and I put it in a portal. And I came across this how to write your first book ebook. It was somebody
Mhm.
else's information. And they described this process where if you know what you want to write in a book, if you have an idea for a book, to write like 10 ideas, like create an outline that's 10 ideas for chapters, put 3 bullets under each of those core ideas, and then teach it out loud.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And my coaching program that I had delivered over and over and over was 9 steps with 3 bullet points under each thing. I had taught it over and over and over again. And so I took the transcription from my valuable coaching program, and that transcription from teaching it out loud was 37,000 words.
Oh, wow.
And so, as inspiration to anybody who is teaching something out loud,
Yeah.
you may already have a book. You may
Yeah.
already have a book recorded somewhere. You just don't know it yet. And so
I-
when I took that, it became the basis of the book. And then I added more personal stories, more client stories, more examples, and some calls to action on like, how can you take this and turn it into something that is super transformational in your life? And so I added these sections in my book called Take Bold Action, Take Bold
Mhm.
Action. And so this book is not just about learning information, it's about transforming your life by taking action.
That is awesome. It sounds like that once you got that information about someone else's process, you realize you already had your own process that you could just, that's almost plug and play.
Yeah,
Would
yeah.
you call it? Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think sometimes we make it harder than it needs to be. Like, isn't that the truth? I
Yeah.
thought I had to sit and just lock myself in a cabin for months at a time,
Right.
and so I was like, when in my life am I gonna have that luxury of,
Yeah.
like, leaving my daily responsibilities and, like, locking myself away? Am I gonna shut down my business for a few months? Like, how in the world am I gonna get this book out of my head and onto paper? And I just heard this one concept from someone and it shifted everything in my mind. And I was like, wait a second. I know what I want to help people with.
Right.
And it is already, like, I've already created that. And so bottling that up in a written format that is fun to read, there's lots of stories in it, became such a, so I don't want to say it was simple, because y'all, there is head trash that we got to deal with if we're trying to write a book, even if it's stuff that you've confidently taught over and over. All this imposter syndrome creeps in, and I'm like, who am I to write a book? Who's going to listen to me? Who wants to read this thing? I had to navigate some of that, and it took me from the time that I started to the time that I launched. It was about a year to like truly get it ready to go and be ready to release it. And perfectionism creeped in, and procrastination. There were 3 months at a time that I didn't touch it because I was all in my head about it. And and I'm so busy, right? We're all busy. But I'm just super grateful, because the thing that kept me going was the accountability from the women in my life who I had told I'm writing a book. And so my sisters in Bold Women in Business Sisterhood and in my mastermind group and my coaching programs, they're like, when's your book coming out?
Right.
When's your book coming out? I was like, girl.
I think that's important, though. I think that part right there, the accountability part, is important, and also recognizing your own process. So sometimes I think what slows us down is you see how other people did it, and you think you're supposed to do it that way. And so you have to be smart enough or in tune with yourself enough to know, but wait, what's my process? And it sounds like you figured that out. I think that's a blessing in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, and once you do something once, I think that writing a book is kind of like having a baby. Like during the process, it's like labor, and you're like, oh, this is really hard. And then once that baby comes out, you're like, ooh, it's beautiful. Let's do it again.
You forget all the pain.
You forget the pain, but you also now you know what to expect. You're like, okay, so now I have a repeatable process.
Right.
That not only can I teach other people, but I can do it again and again and again. And one of the things that I did that I think was really helpful, that I want everybody to hear, is I took the pressure on myself to come up with a new, brilliant, earth-shattering concept that that I wanted to bring the world. Because in my head, when I committed to write a book, I was like, it's got to be like let them theory, or who, not how. What's my thing? And I really kind of was beating myself up for a while, saying, what a hack. You don't have a thing. You don't know what your thing is. And you got no business writing a book until you're like those people that you admire.
Wow.
And there was something in me where I gave myself permission. And what I decided was, I was like, you know what? I'm going to write 3 books. I'm not going to just write 1 book. I'm going to write 3 books. My first book is going to be what I learned that I can share with others from my first coaching program. My second book is probably going to be what I've learned that I can help others with in creating and launching your own coaching program. And I've been teaching that for 3 years now. I have such great information to share. And so that would be a great second book. And then my third book can be the who, not how, let them theory, whatever that big concept is. But I'm giving myself the grace to just take the knowledge that I've learned and share it with others, and not worry about if it is perfect or earth shattering. But what I discovered in that process is what I have to share is actually pretty good. It's important. It's life-changing information. And so I don't have to be like someone else in order to provide massive value. I don't have to already have accomplished what other people have accomplished, the heroes that I point to, in order to bring that value to the world. I can just be me, and that will be enough.
Yes. I love that. I love that you said that. That was part of your experience. And because what you just described almost sounds like therapy. You know what I'm saying? Very therapeutic, the experience in and of itself, because the battles that we go through, trying to get to where God would have us to go, you know, the obstacles that's thrown in the way, like you said, procrastination and things of that nature. But in the end, what you create, you know, is amazing. You are a great communicator. I think you are a perfect person to write this book and share your knowledge and experience. I was part of your coaching program in so many ways. So I was not surprised when you said you were going to write a book. Okay.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you did something else that was amazing. I was present when you did the initial launch of your book. How did you get your book? Share with us how you got your book to bestseller.
Yes, yes. So, whenever we're writing a book, I think a lot of us have this dream that, oh, wouldn't it be amazing if we could get it on a bestseller list?
Yes.
And y'all, I self-published my book. I didn't have this vision that I'm going to be a New York Times bestseller. That's not even what I was going for.
Yeah.
I just said, I want to I want to get the brilliance out of my head and share it with other people who really need this information, and it can change their life. And so if I'm not bringing that to the world and I'm just waiting until everything is perfect, then there's a lot of people that are going to miss out if I don't do this thing.
Yeah.
But what I did in order to get my book to it hit the bestsellers list of new releases in the small business category. And I was so stoked because it happens for a moment in time, but it's enough to be able to say, like, I got a best-selling book. I was on the best-selling new releases in the small business category. What an honor. And my book, and I got to tell you this, because my book was side by side in a list of the small business books in the top 10 category of bestsellers. For a moment in time, my book was right next to Who Not How. And oh, girl, I got to tell you, like, Dr. Benjamin Hardy is, yes, Dr. Benjamin Hardy is one of my heroes. And I got to tell you something cool that happened. And then I'll tell you about the book launch that happened the next week. A week before my book was launching, I was invited to go to a little mastermind event with my coach and some other really successful coaches. And my coach had a surprise for us. We got to go to dinner the Thursday night before my book launched on Tuesday. We went to dinner, and the guests of honor at that dinner were Myron Golden and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. Oh, what a surprise.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I got to sit across the table from one of my favorite authors. And he's like, what are you working on that you're excited about right now? And I was like, I have a book coming out on Tuesday. And he said, what are you doing to launch your book? And I said, well, let me tell you, I'm really excited about this. I am hosting a summit, and we called it Bold Impact Summit, where I invited 20 women from my mastermind groups to come and share their story of how they took courageous action.
Yes.
And over the course of 2 nights, we heard story after story from bold women who did something courageous. And Brenda, I got to thank you, because you were one of the speakers at that event, talking about your mission investor method and how you took a courageous step of action. And what I did as part of the launch was I not only invited 20 women to come speak at this event, I also asked them to bring their friends. Yeah. And so the women that were speaking had their friends and their sisters and their moms and people that could come cheer them on, because they were so proud to be on the stage for that event. And so what happened was we had hundreds of registrations and people showed up for this event, greater than I could have done on my own.
Yeah.
And so at that event, I spoke very little. It was the least stressful event I've ever hosted over the course of 2 days, because I didn't have to come up with 6 hours of content. I just introduced people to the smartest women I know. Yeah. And the stories were so incredible. But for a few minutes, I got to share about my book that was I was like, I'm launching this book. It's all about taking bold confidence. Yes. And yes. And so, so the first night of the event, everybody on the event ordered the book. And by the second night of the event, I got to show on screen, look what we did. Look what happened, because all of you showed up and you bought your copy of Bold Confidence. You got us right up to the top of that list. And so we got to celebrate together on the second night. And I'm so honored that everybody would invite their friends and guests to come to this event. And the number of women who I don't even know who bought my book and then have told me, I'm reading your book, it's changing my life. Like, what an incredible way to launch a book, to bring your best girlfriends along and say, okay, look at these really smart people that I surround myself with. And for them to bring their friends was just such an honor. So cool.
I felt honored that you invited me to be a part of it. It was amazing. The summit was amazing, and even what you did in reference to your book, I was like, she's a genius.
Oh,
She is simply
well,
a genius.
well, here's the thing. I think that the best ideas are simple.
Yeah,
And so what's cool about what I learned from this process is it is repeatable.
yeah,
It's not just me, other people can do this too. And that's what I love is when I learn a new strategy and then I can share it with other people. That's what I get really excited about. Like I
yeah.
was like so excited that the book did well in the launch, but even more excited I was like, do you know what we just did? I was telling my team, I was like, look what we just did. We created a repeatable process where
Mhm.
almost anybody can have a best-selling book if they follow this process.
That's
And
right.
so what that behind the scenes looked like was I sent out a call for speakers. I asked people, what's your topic? What's your, give us your bio so we can introduce you appropriately. And then I invited each of those speakers to offer a free gift to my audience.
Yes.
And so every single person that took the stage had the opportunity to also build their list to offer something of value, whether that was a strategy call, a free workshop, a tool that they could download. But every single person at that event had the opportunity to also build their list. And so when you find a way to provide value to other people,
Mhm. Yeah.
the result of that is that you also receive value. And so we created this systematic approach to being able to not only get a book to bestseller, but raise the tide for
Mhm.
all of the other coaches
Yeah.
that were on that summit to be able. And one of the gals in my group, and I know you probably heard her speak. Esther Liana, she's a
Mhm.
brand new coach.
She's
She's just
amazing.
getting started, but she has an incredible ministry. And I made the decision the day of the launch. I was like, all of the profits from the launch of this book are going to go to her ministry in
Oh,
Kenya. And so we were able to rally and I opened it up so other people could just donate to her ministry. So we were able
mhm.
to send her thousands of dollars, and that's life-changing. If you are in
Mhm.
Kenya or you're listening from another part of the world where the currency exchange is different, sending somebody in for every $1,000 you send somebody that's in Africa, it is like sending them $10,000 in the
Wow.
US. So
That's amazing.
it's a massive difference that can make. But for me to be able to also call attention to what she's doing, and then she just did an incredible job as a speaker. She had 100 downloads of her
Wow.
tool that she shared. And so
That's
her
awesome.
message resonated with people. And so not only did we get to support her ministry there, but we also got her a really good start on her list for when she is launching her coaching program. She's going to have a really good start of who to offer a next step to.
I know
So,
you had so many amazing speakers. It was such a
yeah.
blessing to be a part of it. And I was really excited for the people that were there to be able to experience it with you, as well as, get your book. I mean,
Yeah.
that was amazing. So what's
Yeah.
next for you when it comes down to, you've written your first book. What's
Mhm.
next for you?
Yes. Okay. So first of all, I've decided to host the Bold Impact Summit every quarter for the next year. I was like, that was the most fun event. I want to do that again. I want to feature new voices and have opportunities for that. So I'm gonna be introducing the opportunity to be a speaker at my next event. So I'm really excited about that. Another thing that I'm excited about is, over the last few weeks since my book launched, I have had one of my biggest months ever in
Awesome.
business, and so I one of the things I'm really excited about is how having a book and can bring new people into your world,
Hmm.
and it feels like my leads are converting at a much higher rate since I launched my book.
That's right.
And you and I were talking about this before. You're like, what's the difference? What are you doing different? And I was like, well, it could be that when somebody orders my book and it's sitting on their table, or they start to read it, that by the time they're on a call with me, they've already decided that they want to work with me.
I know you.
Right?
Yeah.
They're consuming more content. They're bought into who I am and have greater trust there. So that's one thing. And so for me, I'm in a place in my life where my goal this year is working 3 days a week, doing $200,000 months in sales. Last year, it was 4 days a week, doing $100,000 months in sales. And so I'm really excited to report that we are knocking our goals for our sales just out of the park. And I think that a big part of that is because of how this book is resonating with people and the opportunities that it's generating because of the momentum behind that and the new people that are coming into my world because of these introductions from others who invited their friends to my book launch. So it's just such a beautiful thing. So I tend to do this thing where when things are going well, I'm like, how can we blow it up and completely change things? And so I had a great conversation with a good friend of ours, Gigi Kinsey, on Tuesday. She and I were talking, and she was asking that question, what's next? And I said, well, I'm thinking about doing this. I'm thinking about doing this. And she's like, what if you rode this wave for a moment and really maximized on the opportunity that you have right now?
Right.
And you don't worry about putting a whole bunch of new things in place or doing a whole bunch of new things. And I was like, that's actually really wise advice to just say, how can we turn what worked really well into a systematic approach that is repeatable, that we can maximize on instead of saying on to the next.
Well, it's funny is not to interrupt you. While you were saying that, what God put in my spirit was just breathe.
Yeah.
Just breathe. Sometimes we just got to stand still, accept what we have going on around us, and just, take it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good idea, because we'll keep going and going and going. And next thing you know, you're exhausted and you really can't even enjoy, what the experience that God has given you. So yeah. I like that. I agree with Gigi on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think over the last few weeks, like the book just came out, but over the last few weeks, like I have been in such a on to the next mentality for so long that I don't always take time to enjoy it, celebrate it, let's just maximize on what's happening right now and then wait for God to tell me what is next.
That's right.
Because I have all these ideas. I've always got ideas that we can execute on. But I think what I'm doing right now that I'm really excited about is taking some of the things that have been working really well in my business today and making sure that all of that information is really accessible to my students and to the people that want to learn how to create a business like I've created. And so we're doing some upgrades to the Bold Transformations portal, which is my coaches program. I'm kind of bottling up some of these systematic things that have worked really well over these last few months and making sure that my students have the best opportunity to maximize on what I have learned.
That's awesome.
And then I know that there's a couple more books in me. Like I know that that's gonna be coming. But I'm just taking a minute to breathe and go deeper and maximize on the current success that is happening and make sure that we're not just brushing past it without learning from it and really maximizing it on in the best way that we can.
Well, I hope that when my book comes out or when I find myself ready to take that step, that you will help and guide me, and it's as successful as yours was, because I am super, super excited for you, and it was so successful. And it's definitely something that a path that I want to follow for myself when the time is right.
Yes. And I know I can speak on behalf of all of our listeners too. We cannot wait for your book to come out, Brenda. So I'm excited to be able to give you some tips and some thought processes that can help make that a little easier. Because, and this is one of the things that I would say that I learned about this too, is like, I know that if I had joined somebody's coaching program to learn how to write a book, it probably would have been smoother and easier. I had a handful of people that were helping me with editing, with proofing, with layout, with how to get it on Amazon KDP and all the things that you have to do to get it actually out in the world. But I think the thing that is the most challenging thing is what's between our ears. It is the mindset and keeping yourself moving forward with it. And I think having a coach that does that thing could also be really helpful. And, and I had a person that is like, she was a really instrumental person when I started writing my book. And she is a brilliant editor, and she was one of the reasons that I finished and like kept it moving forward and finished, because it wasn't just the accountability of the women in my circle, but also this editor, and her name is Kristen Moeller. And I just want to give her a shout out, because she would text me and say, because she did a lot of the heavy lifting for me when it came to editing, but when it and just to make sure that it sounded like something that other people could understand, it's not just my own like thoughts, and like help me make sure this is digestible for other people. But she also kept in touch with me and saying, when's your book coming out? Where are we at? What needs to happen next? Let me make a connection for you for that.
Yeah.
And so I think making sure that you have someone that's keeping you accountable to moving it forward is a really important piece of it. But if I had just, hired somebody to do it for me, that would have happened so much faster. But I also know that I would not have learned the things that I learned if I had gone that route. So I'm just grateful for the important lessons that I learned along the way. And I know what I'm going to do differently next time.
Yeah. That's important. That's important. Yeah. But like I said, I'm excited for you. I cannot wait till it's time for me to get it out of my head. For so long, because I've always thought about writing a book as well. And for so long, I was like, well, I guess I got to sit down and write chapter A. I mean, first chapter, second chapter, and thinking it has to be in order. And that is so not true. It is so not true. So, and just being able to learn from your experience and then be able to kind of go into my own process. I'm looking forward to it. And I definitely would take that step with you. I think what you're offering, even to your students from that standpoint, is a great opportunity for people to expand their footprint and share their story.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think is really important, if you're going to write a book on its own will not make you millions of dollars unless you're someone like Mel Robbins or Dr. Benjamin Hardy. One of the things that's really important is that what is the offer that you're going to make. If there's one type of book that is just getting your story out in the world. But if you are an entrepreneur, and part of your goal behind your book is to have the opportunity to help more people, and you want to use it as an opportunity to build your business, to be really clear about what your offer is coming out of that book. So when somebody tells me that they want to write a book, one of the things I ask them is, how are you going to monetize that?
Yeah.
What is it that you're going to offer that will be something that they can take a next step with you that leads to a higher ticket sale? And so before somebody writes a book or finishes a book and publishes a book, I want to encourage you to figure out what is your monetization plan. Yeah. And so one of the things that I do to help people figure that out is, if you've got the knowledge and information that you want to share with other people, to go through, I do this process called Nail Your Niche, where I help you figure out what is your unique coaching niche. And that is who you serve, how you help in a unique way, and the results that your clients achieve. Because when you know what your thing is as a coach, you have the ability to create an offer that can be a natural next step for people who buy your book, to then take a next step with you, to engage with you, and then you have an offer for them. So I love talking to people who want to write a book, because that means you've got deep expertise that you want to share. But I always want to talk to somebody before they get finished with that book, or before they've written that book completely, to help them figure out what is going to be the thing that you do to bring additional value that you can monetize, so that you make the most of the opportunity that there is in writing a book, which is now that can turn into thousands of dollars in your business, hundreds of thousands of dollars in your business, instead of just sharing value and hoping that people will be smart enough to look you up online and figure out how to take a next step with you. Let's make it super clear on what that process is, to be able to actually work with you and hire you as their coach or consultant, or to do something with you in business.
Oh, that's great information. Thank you for sharing that. I definitely will be contacting you when the time comes. Create that strategy plan, because I agree. And that's definitely a path I would want to take. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. So now, when you look back on this, how does it make you feel to know that you've accomplished this, as well as growing your program. You're hitting your goals. I mean, those hopefully you've gotten rid of those voices that were saying nonsense into your head. How does that make you feel in this moment right here and now?
I feel honored and I feel really grateful
Mm-hmm.
because there are parts of my book that were really hard things to share, just like out in the world. And so I'm grateful for the lessons that I've learned in my life that I can share with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But the name of my book is Bold Confidence. And for me, the confidence that I had to step into to write this book and release it into the world, it challenged so many parts of my insecurities. And
Yeah.
and it's so funny because my book is Bold Confidence, but I was battling it out
Yeah.
internally to have the confidence to release that book.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm enjoying the feeling of accomplishment, but most of all, I think I'm just feeling really grateful for that next level of confidence that I know that I've stepped into. And if I want people to hear this well. If you wait until you feel ready, you
Mm-hmm.
may be waiting your whole life.
Yeah, that's right.
But when we take action, the feeling follows.
Yeah.
And so it took me taking the action to put that into the world to feel confident that I am an author. I am a writer. I am a best-selling author. I
That's
am a
right.
writer. That's the
That's right.
identity that I'm stepping into today. And it took taking that action to actually put it out in the world and have a plan in place to get it to the top of a list,
Yeah.
to actually step into that confidence that that's who I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that with us and your journey with us, because we've all been blessed by it. So I'm really excited for you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone who joined us today. If you want to write a book, if you know that there is a story inside you, something that you can share with others that you want to bring to the world, then I want to encourage you to take bold action. And the way that I want to encourage you to take bold action today is to reach out to me to nail your niche.
Yes.
Because before you bring that story and that expertise to the world, I want you to know how you're going to help people at a next level using your story as a vehicle for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you go to AndreaEngstrom.com, there is a place on my website where you can schedule an appointment to talk with someone about how to nail your niche. We're going to find 3 days on a calendar. It is my gift to you. It is free to do that. And so if you go to AndreaEngstrom.com, I'm going to offer you that gift and invite you to book a short call just to make sure it's a good fit and then get those days scheduled with you. And so that would be my honor to help you with that. Brenda, if somebody wants to take a next step with you, what is the best way for them to connect with you?
You can go to my website, brendastroud.com, and you can sign up for any of my upcoming workshops or coaching programs that we're going to be launching here in the very near future. You can also reach me on the social media, Facebook and Instagram, just using my name, Brenda Stroud.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, till next time, I'm Andrea Engstrom with Brenda Stroud, and we are your sisters in business, encouraging you to take action on your dreams. Show up to your life with power and authenticity. Be bold, be tenacious, and make it happen.
Bye.